And welcome to the Bright Side, friends. Pharmacist Ben here. Thank you for joining us. 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we're here for you. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, we love hearing those. 844-236-6010. And, of course, if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number on the Bright Side. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase longevity products off the website. You can also call 866-735-2470, 866-735-2470. Ask about joining the Brightside Ben team for a one-time $30 fee. You can be in business for yourself, start a home-based business, work out of your home, help change the world with the power of nutrition. Excuse me. You got to really understand that most people are still not hip to how powerful a nutritional supplement program can be. If you have benefited from nutritional supplements and you want to spread the word and start a home-based business, the longevity business opportunity is perfect. You owe it to yourself to at least take a peek. Call 866-735-2470 for more information, or click on the Join the Team link at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, vegetable oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our 100% active and functional Truth Skin Health products. If you want to know how powerful and effective they are, go to truthreview.com and check out our 600-plus 5-star reviews at truthreview.com. And you can purchase Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Excuse me. We have a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Geraldine Hogan is going to talk to us about her book, Strategies for Successful Job Change. Geraldine Hogan is a former teacher, attorney, and a retired judge. And she's the author of Career Moves for Teachers and Other Professionals, Strategies for a Successful Job Change. We'll talk to Geraldine Hogan at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls in our next segment, 844-236-6010. All right, so we have been talking about the fatty nutrients. And I guess to really understand or appreciate the importance of the fatty nutrients, we got to understand the distinction between the fatty nutrients and the watery nutrients. I know I've said this many times before, but it bears repeating. The fatty nutrients hold on to energy. The watery nutrients transmit or transport or conduct energy. The watery nutrients, the B complex and vitamin C, and the electrolytes are urinated out. They're not stored in the body. The fatty nutrients are stored in the body. And these fatty nutrients, to me, the fatty nutrients are super fascinating. The fatty nutrients, particularly the fatty vitamins, work at the level of genetics. And it's not just, by the way, the fatty vitamins. The fatty vitamins you can remember by the acronym DEAK, D-E-A-N-K. And by the way, I did my moment of truth today on vitamin D. Vitamin D is really confusing. In fact, I would venture to say vitamin D is probably the most confusing of all the vitamins, and closely followed up by vitamin K, with which it has a lot in common. Vitamin D is not really a vitamin, as I've said many, many times already. It's a hormone. There's different forms of vitamin D. There's actually 5 different forms of vitamin D, even though we only talk about 2 of them, vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. There's D1, D2, D3, D4, D5. D2 and D3 are, for the most part, that's the ones that you're going to hear about the most. D3 is the most powerful of the vitamin Ds. That's the kind you get from the sun. And as I've said before, and I'll say it again, the most important and the most functional, the most valuable way to get your vitamin D is from the sun, not from food and not from supplements. Yes, if you're living north of, in the northern part of the country or in the northern latitudes, you might have a problem with the sun. I say get a sun lamp, but if you can't get out in the sun or you don't have a sun lamp, then maybe supplementing or eating vitamin D containing foods can help you. But really, if you can get a sun lamp or you can get out in the sun, that is the best way to get your vitamin D. You get a nice, slow, sustained release of vitamin D. The body can absorb what it needs. It can use what it needs. And instead of taking a pill, taking a supplement, or even a food where your vitamin D levels spike, and then the body has to deal with that spike. When you get your vitamin D from the sun, you get a nice, slow, sustained release, timed release influx of vitamin D. Vitamin D also has to be activated in 2 steps. There's pre-vitamin D, there's pro-vitamin D, and then there is vitamin D. The stuff that you get from the sun, or you get in supplements for that matter, that's pre-vitamin D. Then it has to be activated by the liver. Then it has to be activated by the kidney. The reason why there's so many of these steps that the body takes in order to turn pre-vitamin D or into something that's actually going to do something is because it's so darn powerful. It's a hormone. It's a steroid. It's not just a hormone. It's a steroid hormone. It's the most powerful class of hormones in the body. So the body's got to control how much vitamin D is going to actually get into the blood, how much active vitamin D is going to get into the blood. If the vitamin D you ate or vitamin D you took in supplements was active, you'd be in big trouble because the stuff is so powerful. So the body has these steps, these activating steps, which function as sort of safety valves if too much vitamin D is coming into the body. Vitamin D is important for calcium absorption. If you were to take in too much vitamin D and it was actually going to do something, you'd start absorbing too much calcium, and that would throw everything off. Calcium is possibly the most important of the electrolytic minerals. It turns things on inside cells. So calcium influx into the bloodstream and ultimately into cells has to be tightly controlled and tightly regulated. And that's why vitamin D activation occurs in 2 steps, the liver and the kidney. And if you have problems with the kidney, as in diabetes or kidney disease or any kind of blood sugar problems, doesn't have to be full-blown diabetes, you're going to likely have issues with calcium and you're going to likely have issues with stones. And this is why kidney stones occur much more frequently in people who are dysglycemic or people who have problems with kidney disease. All of which is to say that vitamin D, super, super important, requires many steps to be several steps to be activated, and requires a healthy functioning liver as well as a healthy functioning kidney in order to be able to leverage its really stupendous value. Vitamins E and K are other fatty vitamins, essential fats. Some of the minerals have a fatty nature, calcium, selenium, and zinc. And then there's the phytonutrients, the plant nutrients. While not considered essential, they're certainly valuable. And I personally think they may be essential. Just because we don't assume they're essential or we don't call them essential doesn't mean they're not essential, meaning you have to have them. When the nutrients, when the vitamins and the amino acids and the fatty acids were determined to be essential, we didn't have an ability to detect the tiny amounts of phytonutrients that are active inside the body. And it may very well be that if we have the ability to detect what was happening in terms of the cell's response to phytonutrients, it very well may be that these phytonutrients are essential too. Largely, by the way, as stress management substances and as epigenetic factors. Phytonutrients, plant nutrients act like stress management molecules for cells. That's the problem with the carnivore diet, by the way. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side with lines open, and we'll get your calls here momentarily. If you're on hold, hang tight. 844-236-6010. I'll make sure I get to our calls early today so we don't leave anybody hanging. We got Geraldine Hogan coming up at the bottom of the hour. Geraldine Hogan's, her book is called Career Moves for Teachers and Other Professional Strategies for a Successful Job Change. I was watching this weekend the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum is a think tank, I guess you could say. It's out of Davos, Switzerland. And they were talking about COVID. They were talking about how this is a great opportunity. They call it the Great Reset. And that's really what this is all about, folks. This is not about a viral infection. This is about a great reset. In fact, they lay it all out. You can Google World Economic Forum, COVID, the Great Reset. It's about an hour, a little over an hour. And a couple of economists, some guy named Klaus Schwab, who's the founder of the World Economic Forum, talks about how that's what's going to happen here. The world is not going back, folks. We have crossed a threshold, and in this video that I watched, this YouTube that I watched, he talks about how everything that can be digitalized is going to be digitalized. The bottom line is we are entering into a new world, and it started March or maybe January of 2020, somewhere earlier this year it began. And the old way of doing business, the old way of making money, the old way of earning a living is not going to be applicable anymore. And it's maybe time for a lot of us to have to reconsider different kinds of work, different kinds of vocations, different kinds of ways of making money. It's really important to be flexible with how you earn a living, especially in this day and age. So Geraldine Hogan's going to talk to us about successful job change. And I know a lot of folks who are dealing with it right now. Some of you listening right now are very likely dealing with it. So we'll talk to Geraldine Hogan at the bottom of the hour about the power of thinking, the power of decisions, the power of goals, the power of plans and action and fear and complacency and unforeseen obstacles. Her book is called Strategies for a Successful Job Change. Actually, it's called Career Moves for Teachers and Other Professionals, Strategies for a Successful Job Change. We'll get Geraldine Hogan at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls this segment, 844-236-6010. Real quick, and if you're on hold, I'm going to get to you here in just a moment. Real quick, does metformin reduce the risk for death in COVID-19? This is from Medscape. Accumulating observational data suggests that metformin, by the way, metformin is used for treating diabetes, and also metformin among alternative health practitioners and alternative doctors actually is gaining a reputation for being an anti-aging drug. Now, as a pharmacist, as somebody who's been studying drugs for a long time, I can tell you there's no such thing as an anti-aging drug. All drugs will accelerate the aging process, simply by dint of the fact that they're going to deplete your body of nutrients. Nonetheless, the logic is that when you stabilize blood sugar, you live longer. And based on this article in Medscape, when you stabilize blood sugar, you reduce the risk of death from COVID. So it's possible that by using metformin, you can reduce the likelihood of death from COVID, but when you use metformin, you're very likely going to induce nutritional deficiencies that will cause other problems, as we said so many times before. When you take a prescription drug, you deplete your body of nutrients. That depletion can lead to secondary issues that you don't even know are connected to the drugs that you're taking. But the overall point that by keeping your blood sugar down, you will be healthier, you will be able to withstand the stresses of life, and you'll be able to coast through infections that happen to be spreading through the society and the culture, as well as reduce your risk of death. Doesn't mean you want to take metformin. That's nuts. That's crazy. What it means is you want to stop eating the foods that spike your blood sugar. Point number 2 on the triangle of disease. That's how we should be protecting ourselves from viral infections. And anytime a talking head doctor or news reporter or somebody who supposedly understands health doesn't mention lowering your blood sugar by using lifestyle strategies and drinking more water and exercising and supplementing, and tells you got to take hydroxychloroquine or metformin or wear a mask or hide in your house or get a vaccine, that's a red flag for a health professional or a talking head doctor that you don't want to pay any attention to, which is most of them, unfortunately. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Let's go to Carl, the Truth Raider, real quick here. Carl, what's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Ben. Well, Ozempic. Yeah, that nonsense is still continuing.
God, can you believe those commercials? These are,
yeah,
do they drive you crazy? Ozempic. You know they've got the songs now that appeal to people who are in their 60s and 70s. They have the songs from the 1960s and 1970s to make you feel good. And you notice how they're always doing yoga or jumping out of an airplane or doing something because they're strong and they're vital.
Playing a guitar or something like that, yeah.
Right. What's going on, Carl? Okay. How can I help you?
I want to tell you about my 3 good friends. And this might be a Truth Raider tip for everyone out there. You know, if they choose to do so. I want to tell you about my 3 good friends, jalapeno, cayenne, and habanero.
Love it. They're awesome.
I didn't pick. They're not friends that I picked up from the Home Depot to do.
You picked them up from the grocery store.
Yeah, I picked them up from the grocery store. Yeah, there's something in it, and maybe you want to touch on it. Maybe it has to do with capsaicin.
It has a lot to do with capsaicin. Yeah, it has a lot to do with capsicum. I'm gonna let you go here because I want to get one more call. Let me talk about capsicum, okay? Thanks for your call, Carl. Appreciate it. Capsicum is incredible for the cardiovascular system. It's incredible for the immune system, and it's a great pick-me-up. Everybody should be using a little bit of capsicum in their Vitamix with their veggie juice. And if you don't want to do straight capsicum, you could do hot sauce, which contains capsicum. But capsicum powder, or I should say cayenne powder, is just an awesome spice, very stimulating. There's a really, really cool book, which a guy who was using capsicum, and it's called Left for Dead, a guy named Dick Quinn. If you have cardiovascular disease or you know somebody who does, give him this book. He talks about using cayenne and also hawthorn for dealing with his heart, for dealing with his cardiovascular disease. Especially if you guys are on a beta blocker or calcium channel blocker, you might want to check this book out, Left for Dead by Dick Quinn. Long story short, capsicum and hawthorn berry have wonderful cardiovascular health benefits. All right, TJ in Oregon, good morning. Welcome to the Bright Side.
Thank you. Real quick, standing up from a seated position or laying down position, I get dizzy, and I'm wondering what that's from.
Adrenals. That's a sign of adrenal duress. It's a classic sign of adrenal duress. If you feel dizzy when you stand up, or when you stand up from seated position, or when you do exercises, sometimes if you're doing squats, or you bend your head down and lift your head up quickly, those are all signs of adrenal duress. They're exacerbated by caffeine, which can put duress on the adrenal glands. You got to practice relaxation strategies. Slow, deep breathing can definitely help. In fact, if you're suffering from that condition where you get up and feel dizzy, try practicing slow, deep breathing before you get up. Do 3 or 4 slow, deep, rhythmic breaths, and then get up, and you'll notice that the problem goes away, because, of course, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing has a quieting effect on the adrenal glands. You can also use adrenal nutrients. I like vitamin B5, zinc, and vitamin C is possibly one of the most, maybe the most important nutrient for the adrenal glands. Vitamin B12 can help, and also liquid adrenal extract. By the way, that's part of a syndrome called POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which includes racing heart when you get up. TJ, I got to go. Thanks so much for your call. I hope I helped you. Geraldine Hogan coming up at the bottom of the hour. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back after this. Okay, we're back on the Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, and we're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific, 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on the archive page at benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that up. Also, brightsideben.com, and you can get our videos and blog posts and news stories and all kinds of free health information at criticalhealthnews.com, pharmacistben.com, and brightsideben.com. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds, burns, preventing post-surgical scarring, repurposed for beauty, because health and healing means beauty. Truth Skin Health products are never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, vegetable oil. Nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. Check out our 600-plus 5-star reviews at truthreviewed.com. Products are all available at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. Okay, I'm looking forward to speaking to our next guest. She's a former teacher, attorney, and retired judge, and she is the author of Career Moves for Teachers and Other Professionals, Strategies for a Successful Job Change. I can think of no more appropriate topic than strategies for a successful job change in this corona-crazy time that we're living in. Please welcome to the Bright Side, Geraldine Hogan. Good morning, Geraldine. May I call you Geraldine?
Of course. Good morning.
Okay,
how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And I've been talking about this for a long time, but this weekend I was listening to a YouTube video from the World Economic Forum. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, out of Davos, Switzerland. And they were talking about how this whole COVID thing is the Great Reset, and how the whole world is going to change and the economy is going to change, and I imagine that how people make a living is going to change. So there's probably nothing more appropriate to talk about than strategies for a successful job change. What do you want to tell people who are out of work, who don't know where their next meal is going to be coming from, but they still have skills that they can lend to the culture? What do you want to tell people about how they can succeed in changing their vocation?
The first thing I would want to tell people is to first count your blessings. Look at the things that you have to be grateful for, because that will increase the possibility of you having a positive mindset. So whenever you have to make a change, especially if it's a major change like changing a career or changing a job, you want to make sure that you stay as positive as humanly possible. So maintain a positive mindset. Look at the skills and experiences that you've had in the past. Think about the things that you enjoy doing, and that the things that you enjoy doing and the things that you do well. And then see if you can figure out how you can combine those three things: what you've done in the past, what specific skills that you enjoy doing, and what specific skills do you do well. And then see how you can merge those three things together to help you transfer to a different job, or perhaps change to a different career altogether. So I would say probably starting there, just taking some time to think and assess those things would help you in moving forward. And always keep a moving forward mindset. Don't focus on what you don't have. Don't focus on what you lost. Focus on the possibility of how you can actually move forward and have more positive things happen in your life.
Would you say that everybody has something that they can fall back on, something that they like to do that they can make money from?
I think that there are things that I think so, but I can't say that, people are different. I don't know if we all recognize those things that we do well that we can fall back on. But I think there are things that most of us have that we can fall back on. It may mean that you're doing something that you never even thought you could make money doing, or you may think that, yeah, I could do that, but I can't make as much money doing that. But I would say think about those things, because there are things I think that we all do well.
Do you think that it's going to be normal in the future to have multiple careers?
I think so, and I think it's been normal for people, for some people already. And I think for people my age, I'm a little bit older. I'm in my 60s, so a lot of people my age and my generation would get one job and they would keep that job forever. I know my mom was a teacher. She taught. She only had that one job, that one career. She only did that forever. My father was a little bit different. He started out teaching, and then he transferred over to the nonprofit sector and developed and built a nonprofit organization. So I don't think it's unusual. But when I look at young people coming up, I see a lot of people changing jobs and changing careers a lot faster than people in my generation and the generation ahead of me. So I think a lot of people will have multiple careers.
So the first thing you said when I asked you about strategies for job changes, the first thing you said was mindset, which I find very intriguing. So the first thing you want to start off with is internally, something inside your mind. Can you talk about a little bit about what that means, mindset?
When I think of mindset, I think of taking control of your thoughts. And a lot of times I don't think we realize that we have the ability to control what we think. And I see a lot of people, especially people who are either in a position where they know they need to make a job change, but they feel within their mind that they can't do anything else. And I especially see it. You mentioned the title of my book was Career Moves for Teachers. And I've seen a lot of teachers who have said they want to do something different. And especially now with the corona pandemic, a lot of teachers are afraid to go back to the classroom, or they're thinking now is a time for me to consider doing something else, but they don't think that they can do anything else. They think that they are limited. That's what I mean by mindset. You're only limited to the extent that you put limits on yourself. You limit yourself, and it starts with the limited mindset, the limited thinking that you have. So you have the ability to change your thinking. And one of the things that I would ask your listeners to consider is, how is it that I've developed the thoughts that I have in my mind? And we don't realize a lot of our thoughts stem from early childhood, the family that we were raised in. Did we have parents who encouraged us to step out of our comfort zone and try things even if we were afraid to try. And maybe some of those things have stuck with us, and we've brought those things into adulthood. Another thing that I think impacts our thinking are the people that we spend time with. Look at the people that you're spending your time with. Are they people who are encouraging you? Are they people who are positive thinkers? Or are they people who are constantly focusing on negative things? And do you find yourself constantly focusing on the negative because the people that you're spending time with and the people that you're talking to are focusing on the negative? So I would say look at the people that you're spending your time with. Look at the habits, the ideas, and the thoughts that you have that you're bringing with you from your childhood, from your early years in school, from things that people have said to you. And then the final thing that I would like to say about mindset is this. You can change the way that you think. You can
We got to take a break, but I want to leave it right there because I want to bring that. We want to talk about that when we come back. That you can change the way you think, because so many people have a hard time. Makes sense, but so many people have a hard time doing it. We got Geraldine Hogan. Her book is Strategies for Successful Job Change. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back with more of Geraldine Hogan right after this. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Geraldine Hogan, author of Career Moves for Teachers and Other Professionals, Strategies for Successful Job Change. Geraldine, before we went to break, we were talking about mindset, and you mentioned a couple of really interesting things. Memories, you said, and then people you hang out with. And then you said that we can change the way we think. Now, that sounds great, the idea that we can change the way we think, but how come so many people have a hard time changing their thoughts, changing the way they think?
One of the things I believe is that people don't realize that they can actually change the way that they think. Most of us accept that, if I think that way, that's just the way I think, that's just the way that I am. But I do believe that we can change the way that we think in two ways. Specifically, the books that we read or the information we consume. So it could be from the books that we read, or it could be from YouTube videos, the information we watch on television. Oftentimes we get ideas just from watching television for several hours throughout the week and not realizing that that's actually having an impact on the way that we're thinking. So the information that we consume, and I'll give you an example in my personal life. When I decided to change careers, it all started from reading a book. And from reading that book, I actually realized that I could change a career, that there was more that I could do in life than what I had done for the past 10 or 11 years. And just knowing that started the ball to roll. And so once I realized that I could change, I did the second thing that I think is really important in changing the way that you think, and that is changing the people that you spend your time with. Change the people that, look at people who are positive thinkers and spend time with those people. Even if you don't know someone personally in your life, we have access to meeting people, not meeting them personally, but going online and looking at things that people are talking about that are positive, that are forward moving thinkers. Read what they're writing, listen to what they're saying, because that can alter the way that you're thinking. You may find someone who previously thought the way that you're currently thinking. You'll see how they changed their thinking, and then that can encourage you and motivate you to actually change your thinking so that you can continue to move forward in a positive direction, as opposed to getting stuck in neutral or stuck where you are when you know that there's more that you could be doing and to enhance the overall quality of your life.
Where does fear fit into the equation?
I think once we make a decision that we're going to change and we're going to do something different, the first thing that happens is, I call it, we start to have those doubts and those fears. And it's just those thoughts that have been embedded in our minds from our lives just from living. Like I said, where we grew up with people who had limiting beliefs, people who said you can only do so much. People like us just don't earn so much. We don't live in certain places. You have those fears that start to come to mind, and you start to think, I can't do that. Can I really do that? Can I really increase the quality of my life? Can I really do it? And then you start thinking, well, what if I fail? And then all of the fears and the doubts start to kick in.
How about fear of success? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'll start with that. Sometimes we do fear success because we start thinking about all of the bad things that can happen if we succeed. What if I'm successful and that means that I have to now work harder? What if I'm successful and now people expect more of me? So it could work both ways.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Do you think action is the opposite of fear, or the neutralizer of fear?
I think that action is the best way to deal with fear. When you're taking action, I don't know what you mean by if it neutralizes it.
Yeah,
I think in a way
deactivates it.
Exactly. I think it does. I think that sitting idle and doing nothing causes the fear to grow. Taking action, even if it's imperfect action, even if you don't know the next step, if you start taking one step, then sometimes taking that one step will lead to the next step. So you may not be able to see the entire journey of where it is that you're going. You may not have all of the answers, but taking action will cause you to focus on the action that you're taking, and that will help to alleviate the fears that you're having.
Do you think the psyche is equipped to provide the owner of that psyche with happiness and joy and fulfillment and contentment, but the owner just doesn't know how to operate the psyche?
Yeah, I've never thought of it in those terms, but I definitely think that that's true. I think that we have within us the ability to live a happy and fulfilled life, no matter what circumstances that we happen to find ourselves in. But sometimes we kind of get in our own way. We prevent allowing what we have within us to actually control us and take us to a better place. I do believe that.
How do you suggest, whenever you decide to make a change, there's always going to be hindrances or obstacles in the way. And that's just the nature of making a change, I believe. Otherwise, the change would have already occurred if there were no obstacles. So they're inevitable. How do you deal with that?
I think there are two ways of thinking about it. One way to deal with an obstacle is before it ever occurs. So I would say whenever you decide to step out of your comfort zone, because that usually is what it takes in order to move forward, you're going to do something different. You're going to put yourself out there in a way that perhaps you haven't done so before. Expect that there will be obstacles. Even if they never occur, just expect that they're going to occur. And one of the things two things that I would suggest: prepare your mind ahead of time. I think that I believe that, for me, I called this invisible force that exists. Some people say it's the universe. Some people say that it's God, but some people say there is a higher power. I do believe that there is a source that we can connect to that is greater than ourselves. And having that relationship and accepting that will help you to realize when you feel like something hits you really hard and you feel like you absolutely do not have the strength to go on, call on that power that exists. It is within us. There is a power that will help you to get through those dark times. As an example, I'll just give this example real quick. My first year of law school, at the end of the first year when I was preparing for finals, my father died suddenly of a massive heart attack. And I had talked with him the night before, and he was talking about what he was planning to do when he retired. And he was healthy and well as far as I could tell. So within 24 hours, he was gone. And it was the hardest thing that had ever happened to me. And it was like it was like darkness. And somehow I felt there is a power that will get me through this, and I will be able to get through this. And I think that it was relying on my spiritual beliefs even before that happened, that then helped me to rely on those beliefs even more. So I think preparing yourself ahead of time spiritually and emotionally for those things that may happen, because they may very well happen. And the other thing that I think that really helps us through those dark times and those obstacles that come up that we absolutely did not see coming and cannot control are our relationships with other people. And that's why I say really look at the people that you're spending your time with, because when you face an obstacle, you not only need spiritual and emotional help, you need people to step in and help you who are you can count on and you can rely on, and you do the same thing for them. So relationships with our family, some of our friends, people that can help us when we do face those obstacles, because they inevitably will occur. They may not be as desperate, or they may not be as difficult as what some other people may experience, but I do think we can expect that obstacles will occur.
Do you suggest cutting people off if you have to?
I do. It depends. It depends. There are people that you may have to cut off, and there are some people just by very nature of your progress you just will find yourself not speaking or spending as much time with those people, and it will just naturally occur that there are some people that you will not spend as much time with, or you may eventually realize at some point that you haven't talked to some people in years, and it's because you've just kind of gradually drifted away from those people. But then we have family members who may actually have the ability to bring us down or hold us back, and you can't completely cut them off because they're family.
We got to leave it at that. We're out of time. Geraldine Hogan, Strategies for a Successful Job Change, Career Moves for Teachers and Other Professionals. Thank you, Judge Geraldine. Have a beautiful day. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.